Good morning. Welcome back. What's going on? This is podcast number something. I can't remember. Maybe 19, maybe 20. But it's I still had a couple more to go before I finished my goal of 20. Sure enough, I'm 4-5 months after my original target. But however, that's the way the world spins. So, what's been going on? I'm in Vancouver on the way to work. It is 8 o'clock in the morning. I can see the North Shore Mountains covered in snow. It's a nice morning. I'm not going to lie to you. Why would I? I've got no reason, no incentive. Just dodge a pedestrian here. Excuse me, brother. Okay. So I heard a good joke. I'll start off with a little bit of comedy. Heard a good joke yesterday, but it's one of those ones where you have to lead in, so my wife told me to stop acting like a flamingo. I had to put my foot down. But that's it. That's a little intro. So what's been going on? Back in the office, back in the grind, getting through it. Weather's been mediocre, a lot of snowboarding. Been reading a book about Homo sapiens, the evolution of the Homo sapien, which has been quite interesting because typically any stuff that I'd read before on that topic was to do with physical, biological evolution, and kind of didn't really explore the social aspects of human evolution. And it's been really interesting because learning about I'm a bit rusty because it's a little while since I've been reading this, but there was like 4 different kind of groups of Homo sapiens, not strictly Homo sapiens. We'll say hominids, and us, the Homo sapien, are the ones that prevailed. Everybody else got fucking jacked up, and they're done. They're iced. Like Neanderthals, they got iced, in a relatively short space of time. They were all around Europe, I believe, and then I think it was around the last ice age they just fucking got crushed. But it's just interesting, learning about the theories on the development of language and how it's progressed up to what it is currently. And when you actually think about what language is and how complex it is and how it works, and that we're all so naturally able to take it on without really thinking about it, it's a built-in sort of software for communication that we've developed over the course of our lifetime, and over the course of our social evolution. I wonder what the skills of today's modern man, and I know that there's a pretty broad spectrum in terms of ability. But if you look at the top guys, let's say President Obama or Tony Robbins, these ridiculous communicators that are able to stir up, outrageous emotional responses in people, and just create waves of pure energy. These guys are pro communicators, and surely there was the same same kind of guys way back when language was beginning. And when you look at how chimpanzees and other primates can be taught to use sign language, and that they can get across pretty simple messages, but that's how it started, really, was before we had developed the vocal cords necessary to pronounce complex sounds with our throat. We did everything through body language, and when you revert back to how that system might have worked, you know, it would have been just not quite as colourful as today's language, but there would have been so much subtlety and nuance in, you know, gestures and signs and looks and glances and facial expressions and general body language that would have been the palette from which all communication would have been painted, you know. And it's just interesting to think about it, because if you took away your ability to speak, and I know it's quite ignorant of me to think this, because I don't understand sign language, and I don't know the depth of its complexity, and I imagine it's pretty tough, you know. Like, not many people can speak fluently, can sign fluently that I know of, you know. And you wonder, like, these different periods over human existence, like where some of these skills were lost or got a bit rusty. I mean, like nowadays it's the information age, we're all technological whiz kids, and we're able to do absolutely like unimaginable things to people that would have been around just 100 years ago. But in many ways we're the same, you know. Like, there was cars around back then, or a horse and carriage, and like I'm in a car right now on my way to work, and I'm just part of a stream of vehicles, and everybody has agreed to, you know, obey the traffic lights and stay within the designated lanes, and that's the way it is every day. And, you know, it's very rare that you see any accidents. Like, you might see some angry people, but it's just interesting, you know, like thinking about where we came from and how we're currently doing right now, and, you know, how it could have been different. Like, what the main concerns, you know, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You're social, and, you know, like, you want a certain amount of love and comfort and stimulation and all these things that make people happy, you know. Are they the same as they were 40,000 years ago, you know, in the fucking tundra somewhere, where people are in these tents made out of like bear skins or whatever they did, you know? And the sort of you think about the sort of work that we do. Like, for me, I'll get some satisfaction out of like engineering work when I figure something out, but it's different. Like, if you know, if my job was to hunt a mammoth, or to skin a fucking bear, you know, anything that you tend to do that's like a job with your hands, where you're making or constructing, or you can actually see the results of what you've done, I just find that to be much more rewarding, you know, personally. Like, even something like mowing the lawn. You start mowing the lawn, you finish mowing the lawn, and then you look at the lawn and you're like, yeah, I fucking did that. It's done. I find that to be a lot more rewarding than, like, if I put an engineering drawing together and hand it to somebody and go, there's your drawing, it's all done. But there is some satisfaction in it, you know. Like, it is good getting like deliverables out to clients and just kind of getting rid of them and getting them off the shelf, and, you know, you do get to at least create something, and then it's something original, and then you hand it off, and, like, you know, it's kind of like your engineering effort packaged up into whatever it is, like a report, a drawing, a presentation, whatever. And then, like, on the rare occasions that you might actually design and build the project, you'll get some sort of reward from completion of the project. But, like, realistically, that doesn't happen too often, especially if you work on like large infrastructural stuff, and then it just gets boring. So what I'm getting at is there's a lot to be said for, like, you know, the little things, like, especially I would notice it on the farm at home, like feeding the animals. Like, the sense of personal satisfaction that you get from something like that is it's really quite rewarding compared to just, and you know, I think about a lot of people who are in a job like a data entry job where you're in there and you're just fucking punching numbers into an Excel sheet, or cold calling sales jobs, things like that. I guess cold calling sales, you probably get satisfaction from making sales, but you know, it's just sort of the results are a little bit ethereal. You know, you can't really see them, or you can't really. It's kind of just different, I suppose. But anyway, I digress, and quite literally, I'm just fucking spewing thoughts out of my mouth. But anyway, welcome back to the podcast. You know, I'd really like to give you a warm welcome back, and that was a little bit of a philosophical rant, and there wasn't really a whole lot of meat in there, but however, I'm just getting back into the swing of things, and even getting back into the swing of things, I'm actually getting back into the swing of being shit at things, because I never really got going with the podcast. So I'm just going to continue on. I'm back at jiu-jitsu in the gi, enjoying it. It's hard on the body. Just gotta kind of stay in shape and try not to get injured. That is the goal. Also, some good snowfall this season, so gonna get some good shredding done. Anyway, stay strong, be good, and use the opportunities that present themselves to further yourself in your own evolutionary timescale. Stay strong.